I am Jimmy for the first time, so I want to see how it's like. And, and earlier today, a verse from the Bible came to me because I have been sharing about my experience doing or rather attending the workshop on speaking. And then today, a verse from the Bible came to me about speaking, public speaking. And it's from Acts chapter 7, verse 22. So let's look at Acts 7:22. And Moses learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was mighty in words and deeds. And this verse came before the verse about Moses was 40 years old and he went to visit his brothers and sisters and ended up killing an Egyptian soldier of defending one of his brothers. So I want to zoom in on the verse that says Moses was mighty in words and deeds, having been trained, having been learning all the wisdom of Egypt. The reason why I want to share this is so far the workshop on speaking, whether it's public speaking, whether it's making a video, whether it's professional speaking, they all seem to emphasize on being mighty in words and deeds. And that's exactly what the Bible described in Acts 7:22 about Moses. That was when he grew up in Egypt until he was 40 years old. But look at the result. Moses depended on his own strength, his own ability, wanting to defend his own brethren, but ended up that he had to run away. And he lived in the wilderness for I think 40 years before he came back to save his brethren from the Egyptian slavery rule. And interestingly, when Moses was in a cave, many years after he escaped from Egypt, he must be about maybe 80 years old. So that was when Moses saw the burning bush and he encountered God. And we saw that Moses seemed to have changed. He was no longer so-called mighty in word and deed. He was like stammering and lost confidence in speaking, in his role to bring the children of Israel out of Egypt. And God told him that he would be the one helping Moses. When Moses is at his weakest moment, God was able to use him. So what does that tell us? For me, I interpret as, by all means, we can train and practice in public speaking to the point that we are mighty in words and deeds. But the question is, do we allow God to use us? Regardless of your religion or belief system, if you believe there's a divine or there's a spirit or God or universe, whichever name you want to call, how will you allow God to use you to bring about a better future, about a better world, to help people who suffer from injustice? So I think that as much as there's a lot of emphasis on speaking well, speaking grammatically, watching our pronunciation, body language, gestures, facial expression, and what have you, to the point that we are esteemed as mighty in words and deeds in the eyes of the world. We guarantee that we can truly impact lives for the better. What's our ultimate purpose? What is our true intention? I would just like to end this video by throwing your attention. I'm trying to find the correct word. Throwing your attention or shining the spotlight on another verse or passage in the Bible, which is 1 Corinthians chapter 1. And it says, for sins, 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 26. For you can see your calling. What's your calling? Better than not many wise. According to the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. But God had chosen the foolish things of the world. Has anyone called you? You are in good company. God has chosen the foolish things of the world to put to shame the wise. And God has chosen the weak things, the powerless things of the world, to put to shame the things that are mighty, and the base things of the world, and the things that are despised. Have you been despised by society, by your peers, by those who look down on you? And the things which are despised, God has chosen, and the things which are not, to bring to nothing the things that are, that no flesh should glory in His presence. And I will continue with the last part. But of Him you are in Christ, who became for us wisdom from God, and righteousness, sanctification, and redemption. As it is written, He who glories, let him glory in the Lord. So ultimately, are we doing all this, being trained in speaking, marketing, persuasion, to be mighty in words and deeds? Are we doing all this for our glory, which I interpret as, maybe you can say, as the ego, or are we doing it for God's glory, or I interpret it as the glory of our higher self? So that's my question for today's topic. Interesting, because I find it interesting myself. And so thank you for watching. It's about 10 minutes, and I'll see you next time.